Alright, we are back. I think I have about two more videos. I probably have about two more videos, and then we'll be done with this location. And that includes this one. Alright, let's continue on. Where to now? If there is anywhere you would like to visit before we leave, I should be glad to show you the way. Hermes has not yet outright refused his position on the convocation, merely postponed the decision. As such, I may as well resume my assessment. If we cannot accompany him, then I will content myself to questioning his colleagues, even the pragmatist. Then allow me to remain your humble guide. Oh, ever the pragmatist. And what of you, Sapphire? Will you continue along with us? Yeah. Wonderful. Our fellowship travels on unbroken. I say we explore another part of Elpis and see what new encounters there there were to be had. If you would follow me, we will first head back towards. Yes. I hate trying to say this place's name. And I think it's because I don't remember hearing how it's said. I'm just gonna teleport. If I sound sick, I'm not. I'm just dealing with sinus trouble because the winds suck. Wait. Where are they? They're like. I also just realized my earring is going to be no longer useful in about 2 levels. A level and a quarter. Not even a quarter, a level and some change. From here, we follow the path northwards to Nautonius. There we will find one of the noose net which facilitate travel between the islands of Elpis. I'm going to call it a teleporter. First, some travelers must be accompanied by someone with the prerequisite permission, which I have previously been granted. We only need to use the device together once, and henceforth you will be able to leave to use it freely. Shall we? I think I know where I'm going to wind up. Oh, I wonder if it's going to be. Okay, it is that over there. Here we are. I'm going to call it Node. This will take us to Calimelius Zephyros. Zephyros, the Western Island. That's it right there looming over us. Step this way, and we shall soon admire the view from above.
I present to you Calamelios Zephyros. Here you will find a number of testing facilities, as well as the observation hub of Poiton Oikos. Right then. Let's begin by... Well, well. An Arrhaeus. How delightful.
And what, pray tell, is that?
Ah, that's a new species of shark. We approved the concept but a few days ago. Sharks are among the most popular sea creatures. Rare is the day when someone does not submit a new concept. At first, they were largely orthodox, consideration given to such things as size and environmental impact. And then a whimsical someone thought to bestow it with flight, another superior intelligence. And then the floodgates burst. Concepts with multiple heads, or arms and legs, and so on and so forth. It was getting absurd. A part of me wanted to tell them to go away and find something else to create, but in the end, I couldn't deny their passion. And here we are.
That was too close. Are you unharmed? Well now, if it isn't a pair of familiar faces.
Banar, that we should meet you here.
Okay, I was like, she looks familiar, but why? She looks like Heidelin.
As I mentioned earlier, the better part of the convocation holds that when we retire is when we return to the star. Well, she is not among said majority. Even after stepping down, she carries on with her work. Vanar is her name, and she is the previous Azem.
It has been a while, Hythlodaeus. You look well. Less so, Emmet Selk. I dare say the lines upon your brow have both deepened and doubled in number. A shame for one so young. You must make an effort to frown less often.
Easier said than done, thanks to your unruly successor.
How is he, if I may ask?
Incorrigible as ever. Rushed headlong into a volcano on the brink of eruption just the other day. I should be glad to share the tale in its entirety later, if you're so inclined.
Oh, you know I am. Now then, you are? I say, have you perchance come from the future? I do not believe we have ever met, yet I sense my magic upon you. Therefore, if I wove the enchantment, I could only have done so at a later point in time.
What manner of magic is this, if I may ask?
A traveler's ward, of course. It prevents the corruption of one's ether. I see you are not ignorant to its presence. And while there are many protective spells, the one you bear is unmistakably mine.
Hold on. From the future? That's absurd.
What is it? Are you unable to speak of the matter?
The reality to which you must return exists as a result of the final days. You cannot reshape the past to undo the tragedies of the present.
So, your actions here will not change your history, but they may yet affect the course of ours. How very exciting! I'm quite fond of delving into the unknown, and there's naught more unknown than the future. Until a moment finally arrives, we cannot know for certain what will come to pass, regardless of our supposed foreknowledge, so you needn't worry for us. More importantly, that you should go to such great lengths as to travel unto the past bespeaks the gravity of your quest. Will you not reveal it to us? Mayhap we can be of aid to your cause.
If this is true, then you've been keeping quite the secret to yourself. As a representative of the Convocation, I will hear it all. Your identity, purpose, everything.
Why don't we move to a place more conducive to calm conversation? I've been working here for some days now at an old friend's behest. If it is agreeable, we may make use of my accommodation at Poiton Oikos. We were meant to meet. I am certain of it. Else I wouldn't have marked you so clearly and sent you unto myself in the past. It's precisely the sort of mischief I would get up to. And quite inspired, if I do say so myself.
My apologies, but before we move along, a colleague has tasked me with a matter which I'd rather not leave unresolved. It involves finding a certain concept engraved crystal and a quick-fingered Ori... I'm gonna just call him a Spriggan, which made off with it. Spriggan, you say? I think we might have seen the culprit just before being distracted with that business with the shark. Would you like us to follow its ethereal trail? That would, of course, lead us only to the Spriggan. There's no guarantee that it hasn't dropped or stashed away the crystal you seek. Please, even that much would be enormously helpful. While you are hunting down the thief, I can follow behind and scour the forest just in case. Could I ask you to join the search? I would appreciate another pair of eyes to cover the land to the west of here. Many thinks there's a small bridge leading to Poitin Oikis. Let us meet there upon, or once we've exhausted our efforts. It's crazy because these things look like Coriol in something else. Our last searcher returns, and I'm afraid the Spriggan no longer had the crystal, nor was able to find it as I followed in its wake. I don't suppose you fared any better. The crystal, well done. Wonderful. Now I can focus on your tale without that missing concept nagging at my mind. Have you always had a knack for finding things? You travel often then. It seems we have something in common. Long ago, when I held the seat of Azim, I was forever trekking back and forth across the star in search of answers to people's problems. Naturally, the need for such adventures has lessened considerably since I entrusted the position to my whimsical successor. I am Yet I am still eager to come running should an old acquaintance or new interest acquire my personal attention. That is what brings me to Elpis, in fact. Many times has my presence been requested, my opinion sought concerning the habitat of this or that creation. Agreeing to help locate the missing crystal was a minor distraction, which now promises to become a major revelation. How strange and wonderful it is the way one thing leads to another. Wouldn't you agree? Thank you again for your timely help. Now then, 'tis time I return this stolen property. If you would go on ahead to my accommodation, I will join you as soon as I have attended to that task. Follow the path straight ahead in the building at the top of the slope. I have the entire place to myself so we can speak freely without being disturbed or overheard. As much as I want to pick up that next one, I will. The next Aether Current, I'll probably do that a little later. But I will pick up this Aetherite. Alright. Like, looking at them, my brain just automatically goes to, I'm in Organization 13. Is there anything I need to get rid of? Oh yeah, definitely need to wear these. I also need to go back and take care of some stuff. Vena. Welcome to my temporary abode. Please make yourself at home while I put on some tea.
A wonderful aroma. I feel more relaxed already.
Would that I had sweetmeats to offer, but I travel light out of habit. There's plenty of hot water though, so please have as much tea as you like. Now then, will you tell us your tale?
I am still going to have to omit some stuff.
Why don't you start from the beginning?
No! giving them everything. Oh boy.
Preposterous. Utterly preposterous.
While not the words I would have chosen, I too have my doubts. Much of it borders on the incredulous. What of you, Vanar?
Not knowing the precise details of the first final days, it is difficult to determine the veracity of the tale. Supposing it is all true, I must ask myself why I would do what I did. Why would I feel I had no recourse but to oppose the 14 and create this Hydaelyn? Circumstances change, of course, but it would not have been an easy decision regardless. No, there must have been a reason. One compelling enough to force me to take such drastic measures. Then there is the Elpis flower, which I said would serve as a guide. That it's of import to your mission is plain, but your presence here leads me to believe that this place also holds significance. But what could it be? What are we meant to accomplish?
Might it not be simply thus? In the future whence he came, the final days could not be averted. Mankind has no choice but to flee the star. By alerting us to that eventuality, perhaps you wish to pave the way for other futures.
Theoretically speaking, it is a possibility. Yet if that were my primary objective, I see no reason to guide our friend to Elpis specifically. The capital and Amarot, or even my own home would be more logical destinations.
True, true. I note also that Hydaelyn did not specify a point in time to which he must return. By this, it may be inferred that it was not critical that we should meet.
Alternately, she had reason to believe that our paths would converge, coincidental though it may seem.
This is quite a puzzle, and we do not have all the pieces.
Hardly any. But we do have one immutable fact. If the final days are indeed as described, they will bring death to all that I hold dear. Yet despite being afforded long years of preparation, the only provisions I could make were for flight. Nay, my first and foremost endeavor would be to find a way to forestall the coming doom.
Given that even the 14 failed, mayhap you deemed it impossible.
Nothing is impossible. This I have always believed. And if Hydaelyn is indeed me, she would believe the same.
Listen to yourself. Are you seriously entertaining the notion that you are a messianic figure in some far-fetched tale? Well, I will not. I refuse to accept that our world could be undone by some unforeseen calamity. I also take offense to my portrayal as a megalomaniacal madman. To sacrifice oneself for the star is a noble act, and I would hold those who gave themselves to this zodiac in the highest esteem. Yet, you claim I recreated Amarot and populated it with phantoms of our people? A bizarre indulgence that would be insulting to their memory. Worse still, I even invited you there. Literally invited my own downfall. Why would I do something so idiotic and inexplicable? Now, I will allow that the hypothetical task of restoring our world would be daunting in the extreme. The thought of having to bear such a burden for 1,000 lives horrifies me. But I would never forsake my duty. I would never forsake my brethren. You do not know me. I've had my fill of your fiction. I will return to my duty, and you will not bother me again. Emmett Selk, wait!
You've seen much of Elpis already. If you have any observations to share, I should like to hear them. Ah, yes. The energy distinct from ether. Though not my field, I have a basic understanding of Dynamis. And you say Hermes researched the phenomenon in the course of creating Meteon? Yes. I believe this warrants further investigation. With that settled, it is time for action. The missing pieces of the puzzle are here, I'm certain of it. And when you find them, the picture my future self has painted will be complete, and you will have your answer. And suffice it to say, I will aid you in your quest. Have faith. If Emmett Selk is the man Azam described to me, we've not seen the last of him.
Shall we begin our investigations then? I am acquainted with Hermes, of course, but only as a visitor received by the chief overseer of Elpis. Of the man himself, I know only that which is common knowledge. Thus, I suggest we fall back to the tried and true method of conversing with the locals. The observers who live here can surely tell us more of Hermes and Meteon, and I have a good idea where we might begin. standing in front of yonder building. Her name is Ismene. She is the one who arranged for my stay in Elpis, and from what I recall, she has held her position here for quite some time. Chances are she can provide us with some insights. Go and ask your questions. I will help with drawing out answers if need be, but I leave the choice of topic up to you. Questions for me? Well, I suppose I have no other pressing duties at the moment. Oh, it's a duty finder. Alright, let's do it. Greetings, Ismene. My friend here is desperately curious about Chief Hermes. I was wondering if you might indulge him. Of course, Mistress Vana. Anything to be of service. What do you wish to know? His interests. Well, he's an authority on flying life forms and has extensive knowledge of living creatures in general. Is that what you wish to know? How would you describe him as a person, as a colleague? He's a quiet man, reserved, you might say, and occasionally somewhat poor with his choice of words. His reticent nature, however, does not prevent him from carrying out his duties as chief overseer. I hope that answers your question. Was there anything else? I can't rightly say. As the chief's personal creation, Medion has not been subjected to observation and study like other concepts. So one day, she was simply there, and what do you make of her abilities? I understand she's a highly unusual familiar, able to read emotions and communicate directly with one's mind. Exactly how she was created with that talent, however, is a mystery to me. My apologies, I wish I could explain her nature in more depth, but I've not had the occasion to discuss it with Chief Hermes. I beg your pardon? I've known Chief Hermes for many years, though I cannot say we are close. He has never withheld information to the detriment of our duties, if that's what you mean. Forgive us, we seem to have veered slightly off course here. Is there perhaps someone else who could tell us more about Medion? That would be Tiamos. Timaeus. He has a similar expertise with flying concepts and is more eager to discuss the subject. You'll find him conducting his observations on the banks of the stream, somewhere to the east. Oh, and unless you take a particular joy in rambling discourse, I suggest you keep your questions concise. We shall keep that in mind. Thank you for your patience and insight. Think nothing of it. If there is aught else you need during your stay, please don't hesitate to ask. Come, Sapphire, I think we've taken enough of Ismene's time. Our investigation's off to a fine start. Would you agree? From here, I propose we split up. I shall continue making inquiries with the resident observers. If you could track down the colleague Ismene mentioned. Although I felt compelled to take the reins of that previous conversation, your fearless style of interrogation will lead you to the answers you seek. All I ask is that you watch your footing around the stream. We can meet back here once you finish speaking to Tiamos. Miles. Yes, yes, I am he. But please keep your voice down, you'll startle the birds. What birds? So, what is it you wish to speak about? Chief Hermes' work? A worthy subject indeed. Those beings which soar over the clouds, majestic and graceful, are ever the favorite of the creators. Even now, with so many varieties in existence, the flood of new imagined concepts continues unabated. What sets the chief's creations apart, however, is how they benefit from his boundless knowledge of the celestial realm. Birds that can climb so high they disappear from view, others which traverse the boundless sky in a moment, and all without riding the currents. I know of none save he who can conceive of such marvels. Even we who prize elegance of form above all else are dumbfounded by his genius. In my opinion on that matter would be superficial at best. Despite my admiration for Medion as a concept, I've never delved too deeply into the inner workings of her nature. I know she has a gift for communicating via emotions, but otherwise her abilities are a mystery to me. If Chief Hermes should choose to submit Medion's concept to the Bureau of Architect, then will the design be registered for public scrutiny? Analyzing a colleague's creation before that step is frowned upon, to say the least. Of course, if he came to me, a fellow artisan looking for advice, that would be an entirely different story. Dynamis and intellecties? Those terms do sound vaguely familiar. Was there not a flower made here in Elpis that exhibit properties of one or the other? It must have been centuries since I last heard anyone speak of such things. Has there been a resurgence in interest? No. Then why bring up the subject? I'm flattered you sought out my insight, but I cannot afford to neglect my duties for the sake of idle chatter. Now I really must return to my observation. Surely you will have your own tasks to attend to. Alright, back to Vanna. What in the world are those? Oh, okay. I have seen those. Back already. That was quick work. You were obviously clever enough to head off any of that rambling as many mentioned. So have you any new findings to share? I see. Even an expert in the field had little understanding of Medion's capabilities, let alone the awareness of Dynamis. My questions resulted much the same. Hermes' colleagues view Medion as his personal project and could provide no details beyond those which you just told me. Which leads me to believe that the only person of any significance knowledge of Dynamis is Hermes himself. Yes, we've made some progress here, but more information is needed if we are to reach a definitive conclusion. At present, the strongest link we have to the final days is the power of Dynamis and the Intellects which can control it. Yet most scholars are only vaguely aware of these terms, let alone study them in depth, except for Hermes, it seems. Thus, I am inclined to stay our current course, learn all we can about the chief overseer and his familiar, and on that subject, was there aught else to know of note, which I can, of that of note you can tell me about Medion aside from her unorthodox method of communication? I rather wish you had mentioned that earlier. In any event, would you care to elaborate? So these siblings of hers now travel the great expanse in search of deeper meaning. Thank you. Though the mystery at hand remains unsolved, I feel you've touched on a vital clue, one we should keep in mind as we continue. Next, I propose we take ourselves to Crystalline, not far from here, just follow the path west. This tower and one further along are both parts of Crystalline, the facility where they archive all of Elpis's observational and testing records. Despite how they appear from the outside, the interior is actually a vast area of magical interconnected space, which, while fascinating, is not the reason we are here, is it? I shall cut my architectural lessons short and see what views two archivists have to share. If you could ask someone to speak with over at the other tower, I shall join you there anon. Wait a minute, when did I level? When did I level? You have questions for me? Certainly. I can just a moment while I conclude my current appointment. Indeed, so if you could provide a comprehensive log of these behaviors, we should then have sufficient data for our records. Now, what is it you wish to speak with me about? Gonna remember to change my gloves. The Chiefs oversees your personal research project, and by that I assume you mean Medion. Such undocumented studies are difficult to track. After all, hardly a day goes past without seeing a researcher trailed by one creation or another. I'm afraid I cannot tell you exactly when Medion appeared, only that she spends much of her time at the Chief's side. Although I do recall an interesting tale my dearest Galeen shared with me. Galeen is my partner and a fellow researcher here in Elpis. She's returned late one night when she caught sight of Chief Hermes sending me in heavensward, a host of them. For several days she would not speak of that scene with wonder. She would speak of that scene with wonder, describing it as one of the most beautiful spectacles she had ever witnessed. That sounds like a story I should like to hear. Mistress Vanna, I thought you had already returned to the surface. Permit me to thank you again for your invaluable contribution to our concept placement proposal. Pray do not mention it. As you say, my original plan was to leave after that task, but I have since become engrossed with Chief Hermes' research. Would you favor me with retelling the sight which so delighted your Galen? Galeen? Of course. Or you can hear it from her lips directly if you prefer. At present, she should be observing a subject in metabasos thalassia. She does enjoy her time there watching the sea currents, screen creatures hunt and play, gazing upon salt waters and world's oceans, creating such a sublime detail. I imagine you must find similar joy in indulging your boundless curiosity, Mistress Fanon, even though such pursuits must continually and regretfully delay your return to the star. Indeed, they do. 'Tis a rest well deserved and long overdue, I should think. How greatly have we prospered for the wisdom you've accumulated during your travels as a Zine, or as it. And what would Elpis be without your earlier academic work? The theories you developed served as basis of many techniques that still used today. Man is a creature of contemplation, but none embody the nature as much enduring passion as you do. I dare say there is not a soul alive more worthy of a return. I shall rejoice the day you depart for your final journey. I will be honored. Well, shall we take this opportunity to meet Galeen in person? Then allow me to reconfigure the door to the archives here. It will take you up to the Skyway and prepare you and spare you the need to avoid hostile concepts on the ground. That will be most helpful, thank you. I have opened the pathway to this. I have opened the path to the Skyway. Once you pass through the door, simply walk straight across to the next tower and ask for admittance to the upper tier. Upon arrival at the upper tier, walk across the Skyway and you will find yourself at the entrance to Metabasos Thalassae. I'm gonna just say, yeah, Thalassae. Galene will be eager to share her tale with you, I'm sure. Mistress Fanon, just passing through. Then allow me to prepare a path. If you need further assistance, there is always an observer or two out in the upper Skyway. Mistress Fanon, I was not told to expect we would have prepared an official welcome. Please, there's no need for fanfare. I only wish to speak to Galen. If that might be arranged. Yes, Galen, of course. I will inform her immediately. But she may be engaged in the testing phase. You could be in for something of a wait. Should I let her know your business is urgent? That won't be necessary. This lovely view will keep us occupied until she's ready to receive us.
A delightful breeze and a breathtaking view. What is it like in the future? Is the world still a beautiful place? Dark, hidden places, rife with danger. Those have an altogether different, but no less powerful sort of appeal. While we wait, will you not tell me about your adventures? Well, not the portentous events which led you here, but the simple delights all your own. By learning about the future world, I may gain insight into future me's plans. But more than that, I have an interest simply as a fellow traveler. Short of going somewhere oneself, there's naught more stirring than hearing another's account. Incredible! Would that I could have been there to see it. Yours is a harsh and unforgiving world. Yet in spite of this, your brethren hold fast to their virtue. To know that the light of mankind's potential still shines, even in that faraway place, it gives me heart. Thank you for regaling me with your tales. I will treasure every word. As you know, I was once a scholar. And among other things, I sought to understand the workings of the world. What exactly is ether? How formed the laws of nature? Whence sprung mankind? Riddles and mysteries beyond counting. Over the years, I have managed to find answers to some few of them. Yet rather than attain a sense of mastery, the more I understood, the more I came to hold the world and its miracles in awe. We too are miracles, each and every one of us, born of the warm breath of life that traverses the heavens, swirling through eternity. When I fully grasped the improbability of our existence, nothing felt impossible anymore. If it could be imagined, it could be done. A passion swelled within me, an epiphany dispelling all preconceptions of what was natural and true. And a presence without, immense yet intimate. Fate, perhaps, holding us in its tender embrace. As reassuring as it was intimidating, how keenly aware I became of creation's fragility, built as it is upon precarious happenstance. I was overcome with an irrepressible urge to know the world more intimately, to hear its voice, feel its breath. I ventured forth on a journey that very day, so very long ago now. Freed from presumption and prejudice, I saw the world through a newborn's eyes. Everything fresh and new. And so beautiful. Lands that stretched on forever. Skies one could drown in. The heartbeat of nature, silent yet strong. And amidst it all a people. Beacons of light and life. Laughter that warmed my heart like naught else before. They are my meaning, and my purpose, my love. And so long as they need help, I cannot return to the star. Perhaps my future self is still waiting for it. A moment she can let go and walk unto the end. Safe in the knowledge that man will find his own way. You, who are our future, tell me this, and tell me true. Has your journey been good? Has it been worthwhile?
Pray forgive my lateness. My observation subject was rather irritable, and it took a while to settle it down.
No need to apologize. Your work takes precedence. Besides, we had a pleasant conversation in the meantime.
You're too kind. Now then, I'm told you wished to ask me some questions.
Indeed. I've an interest in one of Hermes' creations. Meteon. You witnessed a host of them take flight, yes?
Oh, that! Yes, yes, I did. It was in the dark of the morn. I'd left the Thalassai after nocturnal observation. As I walked along, I spied a bright light climbing high into the southeastern skies. Then, in an instant, it was gone, like a shooting star, only rising rather than falling. But then another shot up, then another, and another. Intrigued, I made my way to the edge to investigate. And who should I spy on an isle to the south but Hermes and Meteon, the Metea, rather. There were lots of them, and I realized they must be the shooting stars that I'd seen.
A dazzling spectacle indeed. Have you spoken with Hermes about this?
Oh, yes. The sight left such an impression on me that I approached him about his mystery project the very next day. Alas, he said that he couldn't reveal anything just yet, that he needed to conduct further tests. It shouldn't be long now, though. He often returns to that isle, and I have a feeling he's nearing a breakthrough.
Splendid. We are likewise eager for the details. Well, that is all we wish to ask. Thank you for taking the time to indulge our curiosity.
You're very welcome. It's always a pleasure to speak with other inquisitive souls. Oh, and will you be descending now? If so, I shall link the doors for you.
Please.
So another piece of the puzzle falls into place. From what we've learned thus far, I think we can safely conclude that hasn't been revealing the details of his research to others, which suggests either someone will appropriate his discoveries and make use of them, or that Hermes himself will have a hand in causing the final days. Since we have no reason yet to suspect the former, we should consider the latter to be more likely possible. Proceeding under that assumption, our next step should be to divine why, or even if he might desire such a terrible fate to our star. I am going to need to go back through and look at everything I have. Whatever. I should like to visit the site from which Hermes sent forth the Metia. If we are fortunate, we might have some findings of what drives his research. Galeen said she spotted them in the southeast, rising from an isle she could see from the edge. If we stand at that same vantage point, it should not prove difficult to locate the isle in question. Let's take a look, shall we? Now, if I were conducting some research, mystery research, where would I go? Ah, what about that one? Having means to fly, 'tis quite a distance. Inconvenient, but hardly an insurmountable problem. To me, Argos. Ah, Argos. We meet again. Wait a minute. That would explain why Argos likes us. My friend, would you mind creating a double to carry Sapphire over to the island? Stubborn creature adventure. There is no place on this great star we have not together traveled, and still he remains obstinate in the presence of strangers. Argus is rather exact has a rather exacting standard, I'm afraid. What? You've written before? Ah, your before, meaning my after. Not at all confusing that. Interesting. 'Tis certainly not unthinkable. But speaking of the here and now, a quick solution is for us to face off in a sparring match. What? Demonstrate to him that you're capable of holding your own against me in battle, and you should convince Argos that you are worthy of his back. Besides, I might even teach you a thing or two in the bargain. Oh boy. You seem doubtful, but a useful lesson or not, it will certainly be a moment to remember, a memory of the distant past to cherish. What say you, traveler out of time? Clear your mind and prepare your weapons. I will await you at the clearing over yonder. Yeah, I figured. Definitely should have done this earlier. Shall we begin? Be warned, I will not go easy on you.
Let neither side hold back.
Jeez.
My blade sings!
Jeez.
My blade sings! Impressive. I shall have to try something different.
Oh boy.
No quarter. Have a taste. I see you won't be easily overcome, but neither will I. Prepare yourself.
Jeez.
We've only just begun.
Oh
Come
boy.
at me with your all.
Well, it would be nice to if I could, Oh, jeez, what is this?
My blade sings! Impressive. I shall have to try something different. No quarter. Have a taste. I see you won't be easily overcome, but neither will I.
Jeez, I've only gotten her down to 50%.
Very well. Let us move to the final trial.
Oh, jeez. have is...
Break your chains, shed your burdens, and show me your strength of will!
Jeez.
You still stand. The people of your time are more resilient than I had dared hope. I have seen enough.
Oof.
Twas my intent to finish it, but clearly I underestimated you. One would think I never learn. I made the same mistake with Azam when we first sparred. Despite being less than half my age, his strength was astounding. As is yours. 'Tis plain you have weathered considerable hardship. Far more even than your tales would suggest. It seems we have both learned much on our journeys. Well now, I dare say he has warmed to you. A boon to be sure. He never forgets his favorites, and is ever eager to come to their aid.
So I can only assume Argos remembers us from this period in time. Argos will soon have us standing on the very spot where Media made their departure into the night sky. With luck, we'll learn something of Hermes' intentions. My hope is that we find no connection, no festering wish for oblivion. Then we might have Hermes and his considerable expertise working for us, rather than against us. Let us move over to the edge before mounting, shall we? That will allow Argos to catch some currents rising up from below, give us a smooth ride over to the Isle.
Quite a small place, lacking even the most basic equipment. The present may yield no clues, but we may yet try perusing the past. Have you done this before? So you cannot control the power freely. Worry not. I shall assist you. Come and stand before me. There are two ways to see the past. The first entails peering through the walls of the soul in the moment a subject is recalling a memory. The second requires no subject, and is instead a process of piecing together an event from ripples left in the ambient ether. As memories are etched upon the ether of the soul, so too are they etched upon the ether of the world. In this way can history be preserved. Such memories are given to fading, however, and can prove challenging to visit. But come, let us try. Close your eyes.
All units fully functional and proceeding on course towards their respective stars. Estimated time to completion of survey is 108 cycles. End of status report. Severing connection with shared consciousness. Did you hear that, Hermes? All is well.
Yes. Good tidings at long last. Every step of the way, I've been reminded how little we understand creation. How the universe defies imagination.
But soon we won't need to speculate. We'll know the answers. What others live for.
Indeed. And we'll owe it all to you and your sisters.
I wonder what answers we will get.
Whatever intelligent beings that exist out there are bound to be vastly different from us. Diverse in form and culture. Possessed of unique ways of thinking. Their conception of life and its purpose will be no exception. Completely and utterly unlike ours.
Utterly unlike... how?
I have no idea. Yet whatever answers we receive, I will not dismiss them out of hand. No. I will think earnestly on them all. And I will share them with our people, that together we may contemplate our own existence. Perhaps then our star will become a better place. not only for man, but for all life. Meteon, though I gave you wings to soar the heavens, I did not teach you how to walk the earth. So loath was I to bind another living being. In the course of your long journey, you will learn from those you meet, learn to walk and run and so much more. And when you return, older and wiser, we will have a celebration to mark your homecoming and coming of age both.
Will there be apples covered in syrup?
And how are you supposed to eat them? Rather than food, perhaps... a flower. Yes. Upon your return, I will gift you a beautiful flower.
So, what is your opinion? I understand. He is a gentle soul, and well-intentioned. Yet it does not take ill intent to beget ill. We must consider the possibility that something may have gone awry. Perhaps it was oversight, or simply an accident. In light of this, I propose that we reveal your tale to Hermes himself. If he does not wish for the final days, as we believe, he may well join us in pursuing a solution. Then it is settled. Let us seek out our friend with all swiftness. 'Twould not do to let such a pure soul be blackened by tragedy.
There are a number of places where Hermes might be in Elpis. But we could do worse than look in Tissus Hyperborea, the largest facility. It stands in Epheselectos Boreas, the Northern Isle. I wonder, Sapphire, for an institution which claims to studiously research every species destined to release into the world, did you not question how they find room for them all on so few islands? The answer lies in Ktisis itself. I touched upon the practice before back at the archives, where a vast area is stitched together out of multiple conceptual spaces. The same thing holds true for the interior of the facility, its magical constructed environs. 'Tis there, within these sprawling habitats, the chief overseer, most of Elpis' observers, conduct the bulk of their work. Come, the simplest route is via the new north of Potin Oikos. I hate trying to say these words because I screw them up so hard. heading to the far side of the island. Okay. That reminds me, where's that Aether Current at that I was looking for? Well, we are heading north. Ah, good. Then it acknowledged you as my guest. You should now have authority to ask it as you wish. This way to Ctisis Hyperborea. We'll follow the path, turn left at the crossroad. Here we are, the grandest research facility in Elpis. We should head inside and ask Hermes' whereabouts. Hermes is at another facility. We have just as we have just discovered. And yep. Furthermore, we've confirmed that his studies into Dynamis, as well as his creation of Medion, is entirely private pursuit. Were entirely private pursuits. No one else we spoke with appeared to possess the chief's depth knowledge on the subject, and neither did we hear the tales of stolen research. Which means, if Hermes himself harbors no desire to bring down an apocalypse, then he must be recruited to help prevent one. Or so saith the illustrious Emmett Zelk. According to your story, the 14 divined the connection between the celestial currents and the final days, but were never able to pinpoint the root cause of the calamity. With our people's greatest minds, not to mention Hythlodaeus' sharp eyes, committed to the pursuit of the solution, such an outcome seems inconceivable. The only possible explanation is if this future of if is the nature of the catalyst was so inexplicable that even we failed to perceive it. And what better fits that description than invisible, intangible dynamis? Which in turn leads us to our next question. How did Hermes, in his role as Fandaniel, not recognize the subject of his own research? We must assume that he either knew and was able to help, or that he was otherwise prevented from identifying the cause in the first place. At this juncture, all we can do is speculate. To be clear, the Convocation does not tolerate acts of deception or malice. We are practiced in perceiving truth and would have known had Fandaniel lied to us. Hermes has no conscious wish for the world to end. Of that I am certain. It seems there is more to the tale after all. We conducted an investigation of our own, you see. How comforting. We seem to have reached the same exact conclusion. I see no reason to delay further. 'Tis time we brought Hermes into the fold, as it were. Save your thanks. I did not say I believe your ridiculous story. But as Emmett Silk, I have a duty to examine any potential threat to our existence, no matter how ludicrous or personally offensive I may find it. Alright. And with that, we are going to end it there. Be on the lookout, because by the time this goes live, I should hopefully be starting Dawn Trail. I will more than likely be streaming that a little more, if possible, depending on work schedule. Until then, be good to yourself, be good to others, and of course, stay true.